ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुक्तापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विशुद्धानुसुत देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So welcome to Corporate Gita. We'll be starting our 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Very interesting chapter. Before we go, we'll just look at the link. Here. So Krishna gave some one sloka on Ashtanga Yoga, right? 5.27. So he's going to expand on that very verse. Shutting all external objects, keeping the eyes concentrated between the two eyebrows, suspending inwards, outward breaths within the nostril, and thus controlling the mind, sense, and intelligence. The transcendental is aim and liberation. So Krishna is talking about this verse, and he's going to expand on that. Okay, what is this Ashtanga Yoga? We last time made some comparisons of Ashtanga Yoga with Bhakti Yoga, right? Out of which pranayam and asanas are not exactly, you know, uh, what you say is relatable or corresponding, but everything else is little bit corresponding. And the concept is that the karma yogi who does nishkam karma yoga, right, he will do in the morning this ashtanga yoga for some time, and then he will go and do his work. That is the concept. And we saw Krishna himself does this, right? We looked at Krishna book 10th canto, and he would get up in the morning and do meditation on himself. Now very interestingly, there are three types of meditation. Meditation on oneself as a soul, meditation on the super soul which is there in the heart, and then meditation on the supreme lord Bhagwan. Okay, so I think in this chapter we'll get to know about these three types of meditation, or not in this yeah, just let me find that. It is in the 9th chapter. Just let me find that. Is it in the 9th one? Where is it? Ah, okay. Okay, it's in the 9.15th section. But anyway, we'll go forward. When we reach 9th chapter, we'll come back again. So Krishna taught about this one verse, and he's setting the scene for chapter 6. And then one should perform this Nishkam Karma Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga a little bit and have full control of mind. Must be completely indifferent to and unaffected by all material things. The sections are divided like this, like 1 to 4 is advancing in yoga through detached work. Again, he's going to talk about a little bit detached work. Then yoga ruda stage. A yogi may give up Nishkam Karma Yoga when his mental controls reaches the stage of regarding well-wishers, envious, sinners equally. Further stages in the practice of yoga. Yoga ruda and then yoga aruksha. Uh, Actually, yoga aruksha is the beginning and advanced state is yoga ruda. Then further stages in practice of yoga. Necessity of controlling the turbulent mind, the destination of unsuccessful yogi. And who is the topmost yogi? Krishna is going to talk about all this in this section. Okay. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Anashritta Karma Phalam Karyam Karma Karoti ya Sa Sannyasi Sa Yogi Sa Na Ninadnir Na Chakriyaha. The Supreme Personal Godhead said, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated in the renounced order of life, and he is true mystic, nor he who lights no fire and performs no duty. So Krishna is talking about a mystic, a yogi, in short. What word he uses is sannyasi. Actually, he uses the word sannyasi. Okay, a yogi. Sorry, he uses the word yogi. Mystic. So a yogi is one who is not attached to the fruits of his work. He works as obligated for the sake of duty in a renounced order of life. In a renounced order of life, in the spirit of renunciation. Okay? And he's active. It is not that he who doesn't light fire or performs no duty. Now, why the word lighting no fire comes? Have you heard
Because
this? Yeah.
yes, Prabhuji. Usually sannyasis they don't cook food for themselves. They have to like go door to door and mm, eat whatever
Yes. Okay. Okay.
they get, others give them.
Okay. Okay. So let's see if Prabhupada has said anything about this fire thing. Yeah. Have you heard this surname called Agnihotra?
Ah, yes, Prabhuji.
Many people have
Agnihotri.
this, yeah,
Yes.
Agnihotri, right? So what they would do is this is a set of Brahmana who
Hmm.
would keep the yagya fire continuously on.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
So the point to mention here, Krishna is saying is that a mystic, a yogi, won't sit idle. He will keep doing his work. How? Unattached to fruits, obligated in the renounced order of life with the spirit of renunciation. That is very important. And he will perform duty also. Okay, so Krishna is telling Arjuna they won't sit idle. Arjuna's question is, should I perform my duty, right? So Krishna is
Hmm.
hammering the same point. You do it in an unattached way, You do it in an obligated way with the spirit of renunciation, and don't avoid your duty. In this chapter, the Lord explains the process of eightfold yoga system. So Prabhupada is talking about this chapter now. Is a means to control the mind and senses. However, this is very difficult for the people in general to perform, especially in the age of Kali. So in this list, right, whatever we looked at it, right, if you go into the exact details of yama, niyama, and asana, there's so many asanas, there's so many pranayams, right? Out of which we are only doing few of it. Like I do something like 8, 9 asanas only. And pranayam I only do 2. If you go in any yoga studio, they may do something more, like 20 or maybe 10. But if you actually look at it, the asanas are too many. Similarly, the yama, niyama are also, there's a big list for it. So to follow all this in detail is very difficult in Kali Yuga, right? Only some part of it we are able to follow. Although the Eightfold Yoga system is recommended in this chapter, so it is a bona fide yoga system. The Lord emphasizes the process of karma yoga, acting in Krishna consciousness better. So doing 100% this yoga whole day long is there in Vedas, and the sages, the great souls, they have done that. Like Dhruva also did this, right? Dhruva also did. He went to forest. He did this yoga, Ashtanga yoga. But in Kali Yuga, to do this is very difficult. So for us, Karma Yoga is there. And we have to learn from Krishna. So like, last time we read that Krishna meditates, right? So some part of the Dhyana Yoga he picked up. Asana, Pranayam, Dhyana. And he used that in his daily life. So we can also do that. Okay. And we are seeing it, right, that the yoga system, the yogasanas, the pranayams, those are very helpful for healthy and healthy mind. Yes. So
Yes, Prabhuji,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So even so, Prabhupada may say this, that it is difficult for this age and all that. It doesn't mean that it is to be completely rejected. Okay, like it is difficult to become a 100-meter racer or um, or athlete, or let's say marathon, 2 3 hours, how much, 2.4 hours of marathon, right, they run. It may be difficult for everyone to get to that thing. Then is it to be rejected? Your doctor may
No.
say you have to run or you have to jog. You will say
According to the age and health conditions, we must
whatever.
follow.
Even a young man, if you take, and if the doctor says you have to jog, he says I cannot
Mm.
jog like those who jog in the marathon. It is not possible for me. So what does that mean? He wrongly understood it. When he said jog like an athlete, it didn't mean you have to become that athlete. Okay? You have to do it according to your capacity. That athlete's capacity is very big. Therefore, they are able to run 2.4 hours. And every day they will run for 1 hour. Now, if we have to emulate that, and we are not going to become athlete, but it is helpful. So then instead of running 2.5 hours for 1 hour every day, how much time will we run? Maybe 15 minutes, half an hour, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So it is like that. So somebody saying, complete it, it's difficult and all, it doesn't mean that it to be rejected. Okay. Everyone acts in this world to maintain his family and their paraphernalia, but no one is working without some self-interest, some personal sense gratification, be concentrated or extended. The criteria of perfection is to act in Krishna consciousness and not with a view to enjoy the fruits of work. To act in Krishna consciousness is the duty of every living entity because all the constitutional parts and parcels of the Supreme. The parts of the body work for the satisfaction of the whole body. The limbs of the body do not act for self satisfaction but for the satisfaction of the complete whole. Similarly, the living entity who acts for the satisfaction of the supreme whole and not for personal sense gratification is a perfect sannyasi, the perfect yogi. So, we are living in this country, we have to act for the satisfaction of these countries and its laws, right? If you don't, then these laws and lawmakers they will come after us. We cannot, like some people, they hide taxes, they do some scam and all that. Ultimately, it comes out, and then they have to keep going to jail or court cases, right? Similarly, in the universal government, we have to act for the satisfaction of the supreme whole and not for personal sense gratification. And the process is also very simple. Process is not very difficult also. The sannyasis sometimes artificially think that they have become liberated from all material duties and therefore they cease to perform Agnihotra Yajnas. But actually they're self-interested because their goal is to become one with the impersonal Brahman. So sannyasis in their dharma, in their rules and regulations, they may have to perform some Agni Yajnas. But some of them may think I am so liberated I don't have to do this. But that is a wrong understanding. Okay. Such a desire is greater than any material desire, but it is not without self interest. Similarly, the mystic yogi practices the yoga system with half open eyes, ceasing all material activity, desiring some satisfaction for his personal self. But a person acting Krishna consciousness works for the satisfaction of the whole without self interest. So, in this Ashtanga Yoga, right, till one sees the Supreme Lord as a super soul, there is some self interest. And the self interest is could be like, I am getting peace. That is also there. So, that's also a self interest only. Like yesterday, one lady asked me that she has to chant, that she will chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and it will give some protection. Protection it will give, but we don't chant for protection, right? We chant for love of God. So some selfishness is there, personal selfishness is there. Even if we start from there, when we keep hearing from pure devotees, we should be controlling that and removing all that self-interest. Okay. A Krishna conscious person has no desire for self satisfaction. The criteria of success is the satisfaction of Krishna, and thus he is perfect sannyasi or perfect yogi. Can you give me an example that one is only interested in satisfaction of Krishna? The highest devotees, the gopis, right? They
Out
are,
of Radharani,
yeah,
Radharani
yeah.
is also.
All the gopis are like that. They
I
only want
see.
satisfaction of Krishna. There are other devotees who also want satisfaction of Krishna, but sometimes they think about their self-interest. Like once Krishna said, I had a headache. And the only thing that can relieve my headache is the dust of my devotees. So they, so everyone came to know. But some devotees are not ready. How can I put my dust on Krishna? That will be aparad. I have to go to hell. I'm not going to do that. But the gopis said, here, take our dust. We don't care if we go to hell. But if Krishna is satisfied, even for a moment, that is our perfection. So that is real satisfaction of Krishna and having no self interest. That is what it means. Lord Chaitanya, the highest perfection symbol of renunciation, prays in this way. So Lord Chaitanya came in the mood of Radharani. So he says, Nadhanam na janam na sundarim kavitava jagadish kamaya mama janmani janmani ishwari bhavtad bhakti rahitu kitoi. I have no desire to accumulate wealth. This is the like number one, desire of all beings on this planet to earn wealth. Devotees also, nor to enjoy beautiful women or men. So, association of beautiful women or men is very enticing. Nor do I want any number of followers. The whole Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, what governs it? Number of followers, like number of likes you get, number of followers, number of subscribers, right?
Yes,
So,
Raj.
so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if he had been today with us present, he wouldn't like any likes or zero followers on his Facebook or YouTube account. What I want, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, is the causeless mercy of your devotional service in my life, birth after birth. I only want bhakti. I don't want anything else. Birth after birth. Go to second verse. Oh, some internet issue. यम संन्यासम इति प्राहुर योगम तम तम विद्धि पांडवा नहीं असन्यास्तक संकल्प योगी भवति कश्चन. What is called renunciation you should know to be same as yoga or linking oneself to the supreme. So definition of yoga is to link oneself to the supreme, to join, yuj, to join. O son of Pandu, for one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. So we are also becoming bhakti yogis, right? So we have to renounce this desire for sense gratification ultimately. Right now we have renounced some desires, like four agreed principles. We have renounced meat eating, intoxication. We have renounced onion, garlic. We have renounced many things. We renounced going to these movies or enjoying in this pubs and all mall and uh, doing some frivolous thing. We love to go to yatras, to holy places. So slowly we are developing. But some desires are there. Some desires are there. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, desire for followers, desire for beautiful people around you, hmm, then desire for wealth, right? So some of them is there. So slowly when we chant Hare Krishna and when we hear from the Shastras, hear from pure devotees, then this desire and when we serve the pure devotees, then this desire goes away actually. Real sannyasi yogi or bhakti means that one should know his constant position as the supreme, as a living entity and act accordingly. The living entity has no separate independent identity. He is the marginal energy of the supreme. When he is entrapped with the material energy, he is conditioned, and when he is Krishna conscious or aware of the spiritual energy, then he is in his real natural state of life. So our real natural state is when we are Krishna conscious. See, sometimes children, they go to picnic, right? Or they go to school and then they play with their friends. Sometimes they're so engrossed with the friends that they think that their friends is their life, right? But at the end of the day, they have to come back and they have to think about their family. Then only that is the natural state, right? So, similarly, a devotee for his natural state is to be Krishna conscious, to know that Krishna is the whole and soul. Therefore, one who is in complete knowledge, one seizes all material sense gratification and renounces all kinds of sense gratificatory activities. This is practiced by the yogis who restrain the senses from the material attachment. But a person in Krishna consciousness has no opportunity to engage his senses in anything which is not for the purpose of Krishna. Therefore, Krishna conscious person is simultaneously a sannyasi and a yogi. So, a yogi will do some exercise and all that pranayams to control his mind and senses. Okay, and he would do detached work, and that's how he will be sannyasi also. But a devotee, he won't do this exercises of controlling the mind. His mind is on Krishna. Therefore, all his senses are utilized in Krishna consciousness. And whatever possessions he has, he is able to utilize in Krishna's service because that's his desire. Okay, so he's acting already in a detached way. Getting? The purpose of knowledge and of restraining the senses, as prescribed in the Jnana and Yoga process, is automatically served in Krishna consciousness. So the purpose is served, but the process is not served. Okay, the process of the yoga is not served in bhakti, but the purpose is served. You understand, right? Purpose and the process. There is a
Purpose
difference.
is the goal, no, Prabhuji, and
Yeah.
process is the procedure that we go
Yeah.
through to
So the
attain the goal.
procedure, yes. So the procedure of Jnana Yoga and Dhyana Yoga is not followed so much in Bhakti Yoga. But the purpose of what it is, that ultimately it should come on meditation of Krishna, love for Godhead, that is actually served in Krishna consciousness. If one is unable to give up the activities of his selfish nature, the Jnana and Yoga are of no avail. So we have to give this selfish nature. The real aim is for the supreme, for the living entities to give up selfish satisfaction and to be prepared to satisfy the supreme. A Krishna conscious person has no desire for any kind of self enjoyment. He is always engaged for this enjoyment of the supreme. One who has no information of the supreme must therefore be engaged in self satisfaction, because no one can stand on the platform of inactivity. All purposes are perfectly served by the practice of Krishna consciousness. Any question on this?
Prabhuji, I always have this doubt. I mean, it is, I'm while doing bhakti yoga also in Krishna, we are doing bhakti yoga, no, we are following bhakti yoga.
Yeah.
But we are also reading lot of
Jnana, no?
lot of we do lot of study also. I mean, we give equal importance to the service also, and we give so much of importance to the philosophical point of it also, no?
Yeah.
Then it is a mixture of gnana and bhakti, no, Prabhuji?
Okay, there are two kinds of jnana.
Okay.
One is the knowledge of bhakti itself.
Acha. What we are doing is knowledge of bhakti.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and the jnana of the yogis is what? Philosophical speculation. They read the Upanishads basically and do
Okay.
philosophical speculation.
Prabhuji, I'm not able to see the screen, Prabhuji. Are you typing
Just
something?
just 1 minute.
I can only hear the sound.
Oh, sorry. I didn't share the screen. Oh, okay. Now, okay, I started the recording, but I didn't share the screen, so that's why. Sorry. Now you can see the screen.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So jnana is of two types. One is this philosophical speculation, which is there in the Upanishads. Okay, where Krishna is not clearly explained, where idea of the Supreme Lord is given, how he is, how contradictory and at the same time he is powerful. Okay, all that thing is given. But then when one comes to bhakti, then there is knowledge of bhakti itself, where the glories of Krishna is there, the glories of the holy name is there, the pastimes are there, the philosophy is there. So this knowledge is Srimad Bhagavad knowledge, which we have to take. But this jnana is not this jnana, okay? It is bhakti jnana. Let's put it
Knowledge
like
of
that.
bhakti.
Yeah, it is bhakti jnana. So bhakti jnana, uh, we have to study. It is different than that above jnana, which is dry jnana. So anya abhilasita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. So the jnana over there is the philosophical speculation. See, we may have no idea what this means, but then there are set of sannyasis who will be sitting and reading Upanishads and talking only dry philosophy. Okay, so
Yes.
it is meant for them. They will keep talking about philosophy and the nature of this world, the Sankhya and all that. But they won't come to the conclusion that one has to do bhakti. And then there is bhakti jnana, which we have to do, which where where there is no limitation. Okay,
Okay.
we completed this.
Second one, yes, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
And one more question I had, Prabhuji. I always get this doubt. Uh, I see many Prabhujis in all our congregation, no, like Kartikeya Prabhuji and
Hmm.
Harikshetra Prabhuji and all. Uh, they are also in the renounced order of life, Prabhuji.
No, they are brahmacharis. Renounced order means one who takes the danda, sannyasi. So
Like
brahmachari is,
Keshav Swami of UK, all those Prabhujis.
yes, sannyasis.
I
Bhakti
mean, will they
Rasanand
have the,
Swami.
will they have the, they will have to choose Prabhuji after a certain time, or they will remain like this only?
Who?
All our
Brahmacharis.
Prabhuji's
Na?
congregation.
So these brahmacharis, they have decided not to enter into grahastha life. So they have taken up the saffron cloth. But from the Vedic perspective, brahmachari's next advancement is grahastha life.
Because only till 25 years they can remain as something like
So
that, no Prabhuji?
yes, they are trained. It's a training ashram where they're trained in knowledge, they're trained in skills and everything. And then depending on their inclination, most of them marry. 99% marry actually. Only this
Even
one
after
or
accepting, Prabhuji, even after accepting the saffron clothes, they will have a choice.
yes. Only sannyasi doesn't have a choice.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, but a brahmachari, whether white or saffron, has a choice.
Okay, okay.
So that is just showing the determination not to marry
Hmm.
and to continue serving in the moment selflessly. But
Okay.
it is not the final state of them. Sannyas is this. Sannyas is yes, is the final thing. After which one doesn't turn back actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
आरुक्षोर मुनेर योगम कर्म कारण उच्यते योगारूढ़स्य तस्यैव समः कारणम उच्यते. Yeah, 1 minute. Okay. The process of linking oneself with the Supreme is called yoga. It may be compared to a ladder of attaining the topmost spiritual realization. This ladder begins with the lowest material condition of the living entity and rises up to the perfect self-realization in the pure spiritual life. According to various elevations, different parts of the ladder are known by different names. But all in all, the complete ladder is called yoga and may be divided into three parts: Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. The beginning of the ladder is called Yoga Ruksha stage, and the highest is called Yoga Rudha. Concerning the Eightfold System, attempts in the beginning to enter into meditation through regulative principles of life and practice of different sitting postures, which are more or less bodily exercises, are considered fruitive mental activity, material activities. Okay, those are fruitive. Why they are fruitive? Because you do get some fruits. What is the fruit? You're able to control your mind, you get some bodily strength also. You may get some mental strength also to control somebody, right? You may get some prapti. Prapti is this yogic siddhis. You can get something from another land, or uh, you can become smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest. That kind of siddhis are there. All such activities lead to achieving perfect mental equilibrium to control the senses. One is accomplished in the practice of meditation. He sees all disturbing mental activities. A Krishna conscious person, however, is situated from the beginning of the platform and meditation because he always thinks of Krishna. See, the Ashtanga yogi has to come to this point, okay, of thinking of Krishna. But a Krishna conscious person, even if he may be, not a perfect person, he starts with what is the ending. The means is the goal, and the goal is the means for bhakti. But for Ashtanga yoga, the goal is different and the means is different, right? The means is you have to do these exercises, mental and all that, pranayam and all that, and yam niyam, a set of rules. After doing this, you first control the mind and senses. Then your meditation becomes stronger to see the super soul within the heart. Okay. But in Krishna conscious person, he directly starts with the meditation only. He doesn't have to do anything else. Therefore, imperfect Krishna conscious person is much advantageous than almost perfect Ashtanga yogi, right? Because the almost perfect Ashtanga yogi can fall down, but a Krishna conscious person, even if he falls down, Krishna brings him back. Because the devotee of Krishna never perishes. Krishna says in 9th chapter, my devotee never perishes. So if some problem happens in a devotee, still Krishna will make sure that he will get him back. But if some problem happens with Ashtanga yogi, the Ashtanga yogi has to uh, put efforts again. So that is the difference of Bhakti Yoga and Ashtanga Yogi. Ashtanga Yogi uses his own ability, right? He uses his own ability. Um, and he depends on his own strength. But a Bhakti Yogi, he 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 depends on Krishna and he performs his bhakti. So Bhakti Yogi is like a son. So if the son is struggling, the father may give some concession and help him. But Ashtanga Yogi is not like a son. He doesn't think that I am son of Krishna. He doesn't think that I belong to Krishna. What he thinks is on my own strength I am able to do this Ashtanga Yoga, and I will on my own strength I will able to liberate myself. So Krishna is saying, okay, you want to do it all by yourself, you do it. So if the Ashtanga Yogi falls down, Krishna will just look at him and say, okay, what can I do? You didn't ask me help. Look at my devotee, they're always asking me help. Even if they are imperfect, I'll still help them. Get it? So this is the difference. The Ashtanga Yogi is too much, uh, into this consciousness that I will do it on my own ability. So Krishna helping him becomes that chance becomes less. Why? Because you will try to help someone who's asking help from you, right? But Ashtanga Yogi is
Yes.
not asking help from you. So that's the problem with this Ashtanga Yogi and Gyan Yogis. They become puffed up. They become puffed up. I got this. I have better knowledge. Devotee, he's not puffed up. What he is he?
He's
Trinadapi
humble,
Surijena Tororapi Saishna
humble
Nani.
and humble.
Yeah. Did we ever hear any Ashtanga Yogi become humble? No. So that's the thing. That's why Prabhupada is saying Bhakti Yoga is advantageous.
Prabhuji, they get some siddhis or yogis. Who bestows them those siddhis?
No, the yoga process. The yoga I mean Krishna is bestowing ultimately.
Ha ha. That's what.
Yeah. Krishna is
Through the
bestowing.
demigods, Prabhuji.
No. He's bestowing. Through the yogic process they get it.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't worship any demigod, no? They get it by their
Hmm.
siddhis. One fine day they'll get that siddhi. That's it. Okay. Okay, we will stop here today. Any
Oh,
questions?
okay.
Any comments? We did three verses.
हाँ, yeah, but anything related to Supreme Lord is called as yoga, no? Then why do they call them as Jnana yogis when they don't connect to the Lord itself?
Oh yes, good point. They are called Gyan Yogis. We'll just go to there. So Prabhupada gives a very detailed explanation about this. In the very last few verses, na, he gives this. Hmm. See, yoga means to link to the supreme.
Ah, yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, but not everybody starts doing this yoga with the desire to link it to the supreme. That is the problem. Somebody trying to get this knowledge right, he will say, I just like philosophy. But a devotee will say, oh, this philosophy takes us to Krishna. No, no, I don't want to go to Krishna. Just tell me the philosophy. There are some people like that.
Hmm.
So they are pure gyanis. So when they link it with Krishna, then through that philosophical lens they will see Krishna. Okay, then they become Jnana yogis. Similarly, Karma Yoga is what they like to do some work. They like to do some work, but some are only interested for their own benefit. So they are called as karmis. But when they do something nishkam, out of duty, that is also Karma Yoga. But the best connection to Krishna is when we
Bhakti
connect it to
yoga.
Krishna, when we offer the result to Krishna.
Okay.
Okay, so in this verse now 46, Prabhupada gives the explanation. You can read 6.46. When linking the process is predominantly fruitive activities, it is called Karma Yoga. And when it is predominantly empirical, it is called Jnana Yoga. And when it is predominantly devotional relationship with the Supreme Lord, it's called Bhakti Yoga.
I mean,
See,
even in karma yoga, little bit of bhakti might be there, but but more importance is given to karma. Without, I mean,
yeah,
karma
because
with
see,
like offering the results to the
yeah,
Lord.
yes. But a Bhakti Yogi also does Karma Yoga.
Hmm.
See, he tries to, what he adds is love. Let's put it this way. He adds it as a love. He's not on the platform of duty. Even though he may do it as duty, but it will be out of love only.
Hmm.
Like I'll give you example of Yudhishthir Maharaj. So Narad Muni came to him and said, your father Pandav is stuck in the higher planet system somewhere in Pitris. He needs pious activities to elevate himself. So what you do is you do this Ratsyu Yagya. Now Yudhishthir Maharaj is thinking, okay, I will do this Yatsu Yoga, but how to connect it to Krishna? He's thinking like this. Uh-huh. So he thinks in this Raja Yoga, at the end we have to give the offering to the topmost person present over there. So generally one would give to some yogi or guru or sadhu. But who did Yudhishthir Maharaj gave this topmost respect? It's called the Akshay Patra. No, no, not the Akshay Patra. It's something called X called. But who did he give in this Raja Yoga? Do you know this story from Mahabharata?
I don't remember, Prabhuji.
So he gave it to Krishna. And then Shishupal got angry. He gave him and he started speaking blasphemy. And then he got his head cut. Okay, that is the story.
After 100 mistakes, he.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 100 blasphemy.
Yes.
So the point is, from Yudhishthir's point of view, is I will give everything to Krishna. Okay.
Mm.
External point of view is I am doing this for benefit of my father and for benefit of people. So there is some self-interest in it. But when the self-interest is with tinged with the love for Krishna, na, ultimately the person will do it for Krishna. So Yudhishthira ultimately did the whole Ratsu Yoga just to glorify Krishna. Getting?
Okay.
That is Bhakti Yoga. So a Karma Yoga may what he may do is he may do this Ratsu Yoga, he may do it in a detached way, and he will offer the results, and there will be some love in it. But when the love is very matured, na, then it becomes Bhakti Yoga. So there is a maturity of love. Hmm? From
Yes,
karma to
Prabhu.
jnana to bhakti.
Okay.
Okay. So a few things here. Asceticism without self-knowledge is imperfect. Empirical knowledge without surrender to the Supreme Lord is imperfect. See, the jnani, he may have this empiric knowledge, but if he's not surrendering to Krishna, then he is not, then it's a waste. And similarly, fruitive activities, whatever karma that we are doing, if you're not doing in Krishna consciousness, then it is a waste of time. Okay.
Mm. Yes, Prabhu.
So the word bhajate is very important. Okay. Bhajate means is
Worship
not worship.
is not
Worship,
worship, Prabhu.
yeah, worship. So it's good, you know, the English word worship cannot be used in the same verse as bhaja. Worship means to adore or to show respect, honor to the worthy one. So it's just respect or honor. But bhaja means to serve. Now who will we do serve?
Whom we love.
Yeah. So even using this word for service, you know, in case of return of money or something, right, cannot be used. It's a it's not the right word. It's not bhaja cannot be used there. It's a transaction, service for transaction, right? Or service for cash or service for money. But this service that we are talking, which is bhajate, is a selfless service and which is aroused by love and faith in the Supreme Lord. Just like, you know, the mother and father, they serve the child out of love. Do they get any salary out of it? No.
No, Prabhu.
So that's why this bhajate is compared with the love of father, mother actually to the child. It's compared, but it is not perfect. The reason is there is unconditional love, but still there is some self interest of the mother. This is my child, right? So there is some
Yes,
self
Prabhu.
interest, but still it is selfless also. Okay, from material sense point. But from spiritual sense point, that selflessness is very high. Like I talked about the gopis, na? They are not caring only if I go to hell or something. Oh, one moment he's satisfied, that is enough. The mother never thinks like that, right?
Huh.
So it's like that. So yeah, this is the topic of the sixth chapter. Hmm. I will stop here.
Okay.
Hmm. Next week we'll continue with the 6 point